What is going on, BeatStars family? Welcome to another episode of BeatStars Academy. My name is Jamil, and today we are joined by a very special guest. Levi is out on vacation, so I had to reach deep into my bag and and get the next best thing. He's been on BeatStars Academy a couple of times. Please give a warm welcome to the Plan Beats. What's going on, man? You're muted. Hold on.
And
There
muted.
you go.
Hey, what's good? How's it going? Thanks for having me, man.
For sure. Thank you for joining. I didn't want to fly solo on this. This is a big episode, one I was excited about.
Yeah,
What's
excited
going
too.
on, everybody? How are you doing? See a lot of familiar faces in the chat. Good to see everybody again. And today we're going to be talking about the 10 biggest things you're forgetting to do when uploading beats. Um, I know a lot of you are very experienced with BeatStars, but every once in a while we forget. So, I asked you out to join because he is another producer on the platform and he kind of gave me some insight on some things that he may have noticed. So, yeah, we're excited to get into it today.
Yeah, man, I'm excited too. There's a lot of stuff that hopefully it just tunes in with people. I know that even myself as a producer, there are times where it almost skips my mind to do. You get in such a comfort zone that it can slip easily. So let's see what we got and what we can ring bells and stuff.
Yeah, for sure. So, we do have another quiz at the end of the show today. So, stick around to the end of the show. We're going to be adding some people to the BeatStars Academy All Stars playlist. Um, Remind me again if I don't remember if I added last week's winners to the playlist. Remind me again if I haven't yet. If you guys won last week, and I will today, along with today's winners. So, yeah, exciting stuff. We can go ahead and get into it to make sure we get to all of these different things.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go ahead, share my screen, kind of go through all of these, and maybe get some feedback from you guys as well. If there's anything else you notice, let us know in the chat. We love talking to you guys and hearing your opinions on all these things. Yeah, so let's go ahead and get started. I will share. Let me pull up BeatStars and I'll share my screen. All right, cool. Tab. There we go.
Yep.
All right, cool. So the first thing we're going to do is go ahead and go into the track metadata editor because that's kind of where our first few things are going to be. Let's go ahead and create a new track. I'm just going to do oops. Please, nobody check out this club banger. Let me actually delete that. I don't even know what
Yeah,
that
bro, don't delete it. Oh man, I was about to go check it out.
No, please don't.
I want to hear
It was
Jamil
probably
bangers.
just some like empty track. All right. Let's go ahead and start out with the first thing we're going to be talking about is right up here near the top of the page. And that is exporting your track stems and a tagged version of your beat. To upload to BeatStars, all you really need to do is upload an untagged WAV or MP3. But in order to sell higher tiered licenses that are going to be offering customers more value, you're going to want to be including track stems. I still do see a lot of tracks uploaded without track stems. So we
Yeah,
just wanted to make sure we talked about that today. And also a tag version of your beat. Um, BeatStars does automatically tag beats for you if you don't upload an extra untagged file in this audio file for streaming section. But if you wanted to kind of customize and control how often tags appear in your beats, you do have that option. And we do think that that's, another kind of layer that people may be kind of skipping over. That does allow you to
yeah,
kind of control a little bit more how many tags appear in your streaming beats. Did you want to talk about that for a little bit, Joel?
yeah, for sure. So, in terms of track stems, these are pretty obvious, of course, but track stems I have noticed before that some people sometimes either, I don't know if they completely forget to upload. Sometimes maybe the upload doesn't go through since it's a bigger file, and we might not notice it, and so we just proceed, and then all of a sudden the track is up without the track stem. So I would say definitely make sure that you're exporting your track stems and that the upload goes 100% through, so that your clients have all of the possible options for you to make as big of a sale as possible. Not only exclusives, but if you're selling track stem licenses, obviously you want to make the most possible from your leases. In terms of tag version, it's really what you're saying. So obviously the platform does an amazing job by giving you the option of auto tagging your beat if you're just putting the wave with no tags, but it won't be as customizable. So you'll either have one take of the tag whenever you wherever you want, or you'll have it on a repeating loop. So it might not hit exactly where you want, and artists might find it annoying to hear a beat with the tags coming in very randomly at a lot of times. So obviously, if you're adding your own tag version, you can put it right before the beat drops. You can customize it if you want to put it more times. You can customize so it comes in right before the hooks. So obviously, you have a lot more control as to where the tag is going to hit, so that if it's on beat, it might feel a bit more natural, and so it won't be as annoying to the buyer. You know, feel
Yeah,
like
exactly.
yeah,
You might want to add it to like a drop too, kind of like how you hear in a lot of popular in a lot of
yeah,
popular songs. If you're not, doing that, if you're not adding them yourself manually, you are kind of missing out on those opportunities to like kind of optimize where those tags go. Because correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe kind of the way that we auto tag is the first one is after 15 seconds, and then it'll
yeah,
play after 30. It'll play every 30 seconds after that.
exactly.
So if your beat isn't kind of like built in that structure where it's appearing and it doesn't sound good when it's appearing in those places, or you want to add more, you want to do less, you might want to consider, manually tagging the beats yourself and uploading in that tag beat section.
Yeah. Plus, you got to take into consideration of the mixing of the tag. So your tag, the tag that you have uploaded on BeatStars, which will be added automatically by the platform, might be way too loud in comparison to the beat, and that will completely ruin the vibe. And yeah, the tag is to protect your beat from being stolen and all of that, but you still want to provide the best user experience for your possible buyers, and that is a big consideration to take upon.
Right, for sure. And another thing too is right now in the current system, you can only upload one beat tag. So if you're a person with multiple producer tags who kind of wants to mix it up every once in a while, you
Yeah.
might want to manually tag your beats to make sure that you can kind of mix up your producer tags.
That is a good point, because there are producers. I know a couple of producers who use different tags depending on the genre beat. If they're making an R&B beat, they'll go with a softer tag that they have. If they're making a normal hip hop beat, they're gonna go with the banger type of tag. So that's actually a good point you brought up.
Right, for sure. Thanks, man. Appreciate you saying that was a
Yeah,
good tip. I just thought of
no,
it on the spot.
you're not
Um,
just putting out bangers. You know what you're doing.
but not bad. Yeah. Okay. Cool. Yeah. Let us know if anybody else has tried experimenting with different producer tags before. We love to hear what you guys think in the chat over there. The next thing we kind of wanted to talk about was custom artwork. Um, so you can so when you start to upload a new beat, will automatically kind of populate your profile picture that you have on BeatStars, which is why you see me over here with the microphone. This is just my profile picture. But you do have the option to upload a new file for every track you upload. And you also have the option to create a new image in Canva right from within this little pop-up that
Yep.
comes up when you click that and create a new image here with all these options. Um, we have a graphic designer here, the BeatStars graphic designer, on here right now. So I'd love to hear your
So
thoughts on this because you specifically mentioned you wanted to talk about this one. So kind of tell
yeah.
us why you think it could be really beneficial for producers to create custom artwork for each beat they upload.
Yeah, for sure. And this is something that we already discussed before on a couple of academies regarding actual design. But I do see a lot of people who basically use either their profile image or they have one single cover for every single beat. And that's it's not wrong for you to do that, but it does take out some of the identity for the track that you're trying to sell. So if someone wants to, you have to take into consideration that the very first impression you're going to make to whatever buyer you have is a visual one. And so if they want to identify the beat that they heard and they don't favor it, they don't whatever, they don't save it on their end, having the visual support might help them remember, oh, I remember I like that beat. And if they're gonna look for it in a visual manner, they're gonna find it more easily. And so if all of your beats have the exact same cover, that won't help them as much and they might not remember the title. So the visual link is very important when you're trying to make a connection with your potential buyers. So it is important that you try to differ your visuals uh, for your tracks as much as possible. You can have a template. Luckily, Canva does have the option to save templates, so you don't have to redo your whole cover every single time. But just try to mix it up with having the actual title, having different images, illustrations, whatever it is you feel represents your brand the best. Just try to mix it up for each track, so that the user can identify it more quickly.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Sorry, I thought I was muted, so I went to the page to try to do it, but I wasn't muted. Yeah, that's really good advice. Like Joao was saying, sometimes we may think that, so it is important to kind of make your imagery recognizable because that's
Mhm.
part of branding, but having the same image for every single thing isn't really going to help like distinguish your beats. Having a structure
Yeah.
where a lot of people like to do things like a solid colored background and then maybe like a cartoon image
Yeah.
of an artist, and that can work really well even though there's multiple people doing it. It does still kind of make your beats recognizable in like search results or in a chart because people will kind of know what to expect once they become more familiar with the way your images sort of look, and they'll be able to like pick it out without reading a complete title. um
Exactly.
but yeah, like switching up, you don't want to use like the same artist image for every single beat, even if they are the same artist type beat. You don't want to use the same exact thing every single time because people might associate that with an older track they've seen and they'll think that they heard it before. um, so just always kind of look for ways to keep things fresh but also familiar, so you're not like missing out on any return customers or new customers. Sorry, my webcam is like leaning. I'm like
Oh,
facing
yeah.
side. I'm not tilting
Funny.
over. I'm standing straight. So
Yeah.
just so
Try
you
to
guys.
convince us of that.
All right. So the next thing down the list that we sort of wanted to talk about was deciding if your track is going to be included in bulk deals. So in this selling preferences section, you'll see these three boxes that you can check. One of these is not for sale, which is used if you don't want to sell this track. Like if you're uploading it for, let's say, like a BeatStars remix contest, you're uploading it for that sake. You're just uploading a remix that you've done and you don't want to sell it, or you're just uploading your music for people to be able to stream from your site. You have that option. Just click the not for sale, and no price or license option will appear next to your beat. There's private. If you just wanted to make this track, you didn't want anybody to see it yet. You're still, maybe you're considering it, you're working on it. You just wanted to upload it for yourself. You wanted to make it available for one specific person. You might want to mark it private and then use that link above there to send it to a specific person. But the one we wanted to talk about was exclude from bulk discounts. So if you have bulk discounts available on your page for a specific license, like for maybe your default, or maybe for like your basic MP3 license, you have a buy two get one free. But for whatever reason, this specific track you don't want it to be included in a bulk deal. You don't want anybody to be able to get this track for free. You just go ahead and check that box, and people won't be able to. And if people add it to the cart, it won't trigger that bulk discount.
Yeah.
This is something really smart to do. Let's say, for example, if you have a collab sale, um, we've seen people sort of talk about this before, where they'll do a collab on a certain beat, and then depending on the order that people add their tracks to the cart, that that collab beat may be the free beat in a bulk deal, and without even trying to do it or without even thinking about it, you may be getting yourself into trouble with your collaborator who isn't necessarily cool with giving up, with giving up like their portion of the proceeds for the beat sale. So, especially if you're doing a lot of collabs, you want to be careful with things like that. Obviously, discuss it with your collaborators themselves to make sure you're kind of on the same page about how you sort of do business, what your pricing is, and all those different things. But a good rule of thumb is just to stop whenever you get to that selling preferences section and really think about like, okay, should this be available in my bulk deals? Yeah. Do you have any other thoughts on that, Joao?
No, I think you summed it up pretty well. Obviously, if you have bulk deals, is to provide the best possible deal for your clients. But as you just mentioned, when it comes to collaborations, uh, the main goal is for everyone to get that bread, right? So if your beat is added first and then the collaborations are added secondly, um, the other collaborators won't get their money. So obviously, if you're on good terms with them and they don't mind, that's one thing. But personally, I myself like that everyone gets their share. And so this is a great way of making sure that when it comes to collaborations, they don't get left out of their share. Another point is if you're using the feature that we have with Beats for Love, where you can send part of your proceeds to whatever charity we have available that you might want to support. Um, it also makes sure that money will go to the charity in these scenarios, because since they're added as collaborators, I believe that the same issue will occur if added in a different order. So yeah, I think that the bulk deals are a great thing, especially in these cases. Obviously, it's a case by case. If you have other type of situations where you would rather not have this specific beat be uh, liable to be free, then you do your own choosing. But those are the main situations where I think this comes along very greatly.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. It's just important to note that everything, all your tracks that have that license available that you've created a bulk discount for will be eligible for bulk deals unless you check that box. So it's not the other way around where you check the box to add it, you check the box to exclude it.
Yeah.
As long as that license is available for the track, it will be eligible for the bulk discount. But yeah, just keep that in mind when you're doing collabs in general, that it's not, kind of like the collaboration doesn't really just end once you're done making the beat. Like once the loop maker sends you over the loop, or if you're, doing like a true like 50-50 collab, it's not just over once the beat is done and you guys are both uploaded to your page. There's also the matter of the money. So make sure that everybody is comfortable with the way kind of like the money is working out too. And that's part of it. Making
Can
sure
we
that
change
nobody's really
this?
getting screwed.
That boy buddy is asking if we can change this on the app directly.
Yeah, you could do it on the app.
Can
It's available in the
I
Studio app. If you want to go back and check, if you want to go into the metadata of your old tracks, I think this is also, you can also do this in bulk edit. So if you have multiple tracks that you want to do at once, you could just go ahead and click. I can't show it on this account because I just deleted the one track that I had. But yeah, there is that bulk edit option where I think you can go into the styling preferences and then change it for multiple tracks.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Maybe if we have time, we can look at that on your page if you're okay with that.
I am.
Okay.
Cool. Okay.
All right. Let me see. What was the next thing I wanted to talk about? Oh, okay. So let's scroll a little bit down further on the page. If there's any other questions about that, please feel free to ask in the chat or about anything that we've talked about today.
I think there were a couple of them, but I honestly just started paying attention now.
For sure. Yeah, I'm not
forgetting how this works.
Yeah, keep an eye on those live questions. Yeah. If you wanted to answer one, just go ahead and click the plus.
If you had an answer, if you had a question and we didn't see it, please feel free to ask again, and we'll try to answer the best possible.
I would try to get it. I'm looking at the page right now, so I don't see the chat.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm not used to it, so I'm just trying to coordinate myself with everything.
Oh, man, you're doing great. Appreciate you being on here. I'm sure everybody does.
It was a pleasure.
The next thing that you wanted to talk about, Joao, that you asked me to put on our list for the show was adding key and BPM.
Key and BPM.
These are two things that Lee and I have talked about a few times, I think, on the show. But within this section over here, the track details, they can be, they're literally like the last two things. So sometimes they do get a little bit neglected. But can you talk about why you cannot, under any circumstances, neglect these two things and how they sort of affect how people find your beats?
No, you definitely can't, because if you're so a lot of times I'll find producers, the BPMs not as much. I think that most producers are adding the BPM information, although I have seen a lot of cases still that don't add them. But you do want to add both of these, because when it comes to key, obviously, if you have an artist and maybe they're still not super in tune into finding the key themselves, you want them to make sure that they're hitting the right notes, because sometimes it might be harder to understand a certain beat. Not only the artist, but the engineer that is going to work with the track. Sometimes artists will still bring someone to contribute to the finished beat. Let's say that they want to add a custom guitar to the beat that you didn't do. The more information they have on the actual track in terms of the tempo for it and the key, the better. So you don't want your buyers to have to go fish around for what this information might be. In terms of BPM, it's always very easy for you to know, because you're working with a set BPM, so you just have to transfer over that information to the metadata. In terms of key, if you're still in a very beginner phase where you still don't really know how the keys work and all of that, because I know that when I first started, I was doing everything mostly by ear. I didn't understand squat about root notes and all of that, so it was very beginner like in that sense. But there's a lot of information online that you can learn from. It's not as dramatic as a lot of people might make it, so make sure that you try your best to add your BPMs and add your key to every single beat of yours, because your buyers are going to appreciate it. And it's going to help the workflow on their end a lot better. And the more information you have on your tracks, the more they're going to be like, okay, I have everything I need from this producer whenever I need a beat from him. And they don't have to go and maybe reach out to you and ask you for the information of that specific beat.
Right, for sure. I think you just mentioned something that Ali and I do talk about a lot, which is having as much information available on these individual pages as possible, on your individual track pages as possible, so that it eliminates questions and back and forth and communication between you and your buyers. If you don't want somebody's you don't want somebody purchasing your beat to come down to a situation where they're deciding between your beat and somebody else's, and the other person has the key and BPM available, which is going to make it easier for them when they're going through creating their track with the beat. Like, you don't want something like that to be the reason that people don't buy your beat. You want people to have all the information available to you right there, so they're not, they're not waiting on buying the beat because they're messaging you, asking you for information. You want all of that to be available to them right away. You want to create the easiest road possible for somebody listening to your beat from going from listening to buying it, and making their lives easier is really going to help out with that. You want it to come down to the music and how much people want to collaborate with you and create with you. You don't want it to be a matter of like, I just couldn't get in touch with him and ask him for the information I needed. Because people get busy. You're not always going to be there to answer questions right away as soon as people message you. So we have these options available for you here, like typing in a description, typing in BPM, choosing your key, and we have all the keys listed there in this drop down too, to make that even easier. So yeah, just fill out all that info, and when people visit your track page, they'll have all of that right there to be able to check out and make a decision if they want to buy your beat. And also another big thing about this is like search results. So we can leave this page now because that was the last thing we're going to talk about. But if you go to the track section, we have all these filters on the side, and people definitely use these when they're searching for beats, where customers are able to like type in the range of BPM that they want. They're able to check off certain keys that they want to see for your track. So if you're looking at the top charts here, for example, and you're like, I want something like in, I don't know, what's like a popular key that you use, Joe?
F minor.
F minor. Okay. So it changes all the tracks. So now this changed everything. Like if you undo it, you'll see, I mean, there's some of them that are the same, but you'll see like how these things sort of change the results. So if you're not entering that info, then you won't appear in this F minor. Even if your track is in F minor, it won't appear here. So as of right now, you do have to manually enter that info into your track metadata. So make sure you're doing that. If you have the right track for somebody, you don't want the barrier to be that you just didn't let them know what it was. So that's why that's important.
Tiger Backwood asked if what would we suggest for descriptions on the beats. Personally, I would say try to set a mood. So if your beat is more on the chill side, obviously you have all of the metadata in terms of mood, genre. You have the tags for whatever type beats you want to add, but adding those types of configurations over to your description is always great. If you have collaborators, you can add them to the description as well. So even if it might be repeated information, it's always an additional place for people to look at it and have the information right in front of them if they might skip something else. I personally, I don't go that into descriptions myself. I don't even know what mines have at this point. I think mine might be. I'm not the best example at this point because I'm not always on top of the best practices. But I think mine are even like a copy from my YouTube videos. So I mean, there's always that. You can link your socials. You can do whatever you feel fit. But it's a description, so just what do you think will be complementary for your beat?
Yeah, I would also say that it would be smart to include, if you have any bulk deals, if you have any current discounts that you're giving out, enter those in the description just like you would in your bio on your BeatStars profile. Any current information you want people to know, you could let people know, sign up for my mailing list here. You could just any extra info that you're not able to enter within the metadata in any other place. I would put that. You could also put, if you wanted, you could put additional like tags, artist names. You could put a bunch of stuff. Yeah. I would just check out some other people's tracks and kind of see what they have and figure out exactly what might be
Yep.
the best option for you. But for sure, if you have any bulk deals, discounts, coupon codes, if there's a good place to reach you, to message you, you could let people know if you want to purchase this track. If you have any questions, message me on Instagram. Put your at there.
Yeah.
Yeah, just extra info.
Smashville, there's not a preferred method. I think it depends on beat by beat. Smashville is asking what would be the best beat structure. And I would say really it depends on the track and what you what you want it to sound like. But there are beats where I have the intro, then the chorus, and then it goes into the verse. Sometimes it goes in. Most times it goes into the verse right away after the intro. You might want to have bridges or not. So it really is depending on what you're feeling with that beat. So just go with the flow on that. There's not a formula for that. Artists might look into that, but you can also link your YouTube videos to the beat you're uploading.
Some people
So keep that in mind
like
as
a
well.
visualizer.
Yeah,
Some people enjoy things like that. If it's like a chill beat, maybe make a visualizer with like an ocean or like a beach or
yeah.
something.
And I
It
believe it
doesn't hurt if you're already uploading. If you're already like uploading your beats to YouTube as well, anyways, you might
and
as
I
well link
believe it
it.
reverts as plays for your actual video. So if people are playing your video, your beat on the Blaze player or the Pro page, and you have the video connected to it, it'll give you both plays. So it'll give you the BeatStars play and it'll give you the YouTube play.
True, true,
So it's also extra views in that sense.
for sure. Um, okay, cool. We have a few more things to get through in the next few minutes before we do the quiz. So
It's a
let's go
sprint.
ahead and do that. All right, cool. Let me get off your page.
Yes, please. Thank you very much.
Okay. The next thing we wanted to talk about has to do in the licensing section. Let's go ahead and go to licenses and contracts. The next thing we wanted to talk about was clicking the apply to all tracks button on your license. So if you make any changes to your licenses in the license metadata editor, whether you're doing it in quick customization, full customization, even if you do a small change like 3001 copies, if you click that save changes button and you want this new license update to go for all of your tracks, you need to go back to the licenses and contracts page and click that apply to all tracks button. And this will update the license with any of your changes to apply to all of your tracks that have that license available. So any of those changes won't come into effect for your old tracks until you press that button. If you don't press that button, your changes will only be available for your new tracks that you upload. So if you want your license to be uniform for all of your tracks, you need to hit that apply to all tracks button.
Yep. That's pretty much it. I don't have much to add on that because you want to you want to make sure that your licenses are all on point and that every single beat is updated with it, because you don't want people to buy an older beat that hasn't been updated and the contract doesn't reflect what you now need it to reflect. So definitely make sure that everything is always completely updated for every single beat.
I mean, like you can elect to not press that if for some reason you wanted old tracks to be different than the new ones. But I would assume that if somebody's making a change, it's because like that change is important and they want it to apply to all of their tracks.
Yeah.
So just make sure
Yeah,
you're looking at that button.
but note that we are talking about the license itself. So if you still want a certain beat to be at a lower price or a higher price, you can still go to that beat and have a different price for those. It's just the actual contract of it. You want to make sure that every single beat has the same contract. But in terms of prices, these will update every single beat, but you can still have custom prices for different beats if there's some type of reasoning for it.
For sure. Okay, if there's any questions about that, let us know.
That way,
Next,
but real quick, sorry. I would suggest that you could have as much if you have different artwork for each platform, or a bit more platform focused. So for YouTube, if you have a small visualizer, it might help because it will help establish your brand in a different way, rather than feeling not lazy but more repetitive as to just having a square cover on your YouTube video. At least that's what I'm assuming you mean. Maybe I'm wrong. But yeah, try to spice it up when you're working with different formats. Stories on Instagram as well, for example. So yeah, hopefully that answers your question.
okay. Next, we kind of want to talk about emails. So, you want to connect your email marketing integrations to capture emails for sales and free downloads. We have two options here, MailChimp and Aweber. All you have to do is press this connect button. It'll give you like a little pop-up, then you just log in. And what that will do is when you make free downloads available for your tracks, let me just go ahead and do in this section here, it'll not only capture it within your BeatStars account in the sales section, it'll also automatically send those emails you're capturing to MailChimp or Aweber. You can capture emails in three different I guess like situations or interactions. I don't know what the right word would be, but you will collect emails for those free downloads. Oh shoot, I went to the wrong page. I had a different tab open. Let me actually show you what I was talking about.
Oh, I didn't know you were actually trying to show.
Yeah, I was trying to show it, but I did it.
You were still on the licensing page. I was kind of
so
confused.
in this section right here, you could enable free downloads, and you can do it for a social follow or capture email. And if you do this, if you make free downloads available and you check off these two options, those emails will go into your MailChimp or Aweber account. If you make a sale, the email that you collect through that will go to your MailChimp or Aweber account. If you have your mailing list connected to your pro page, if somebody signs up there, it'll go to your MailChimp or Aweber account. So, that's kind of just like a great way to get those emails into those like email marketing platforms, to be able to like easily group them and send out different email blasts.
Yeah.
And speaking of that, our next tip was going to be to send an email blast out to your audience to let them know when you have a new upload. If one of your main forms of communication is through your email list, it is a really good idea to let people know when you have a new upload. You can segment this to your entire audience. You can decide if you only want to send this email out to your sales audience that you've captured from your BeatStars. You can kind of go into any different direction you want. It could be as simple as a text email saying like, hey, I have a new thing. Here's the link here. You could send out a link to your YouTube. You could send out a link to your pro page, whatever you want it to do. It's just really good to let people know when you have a new upload in case people aren't checking BeatStars every day. People probably may, if your audience has people who are, let's say they're artists who maybe buy one beat a month, one beat every couple of weeks, they might not be going on to BeatStars or onto your pro page every day to check. They might only be going on there when they're ready to buy a beat. So, but they'll probably be checking their email every day. So just keeping that in the back of people's minds, letting people know when you have a new beat, so they're actually able to visit your page and purchase something from you because they know there's something new there, is a really great idea.
And I try not to be over excessive, because I know, following your tip, which is a good one, because sometimes it's easier for you to go after your buyers rather than wait for them to come to you, is if you're putting up beats every single day, maybe that will end up being overly excessive by email blasting your clients every single day as well. So I would maybe have a weekly newsletter or a bi-weekly newsletter where you just let them know, hey, here's like the beats that I dropped this week, and make it as your own as possible. But try to reach out with useful information, good deals, and all of that, but try to do it in a manner that it doesn't come out as too spammy, because people aren't as geared as to unsubscribe from a newsletter. But if they start seeing it too much, they might actually end up unsubscribing. So you have to take that into account. And yeah, just as an extra note from your previous tip regarding free downloads, you can also do the social follow. If you choose more than one option, it'll be basically an option for them whether to have the email or the social follow. The thing is, from a personal perspective, people tend to be more geared into unfollowing you right after they get the free download. Plus, it has that sort of forced feel. And I would much rather have them follow me because they actually like my music to the point that they want to go and check and follow me manually. And the second thing is, if you have them all on and they're all mandatory instead of optional like we have currently, um, it'll be a lot more hoops that people will have to jump through because they'll have to follow you on several social media, even get your email, and it becomes disconcerting to get through so much only for a free download.
Right. For sure. Okay. We just have a couple more to get to, then we can go do the quiz.
Yeah, let's go.
So the next thing we wanted to talk about was, oh, this isn't the wrong. Okay. The next thing we want to talk about was distributing your beats and putting them in YouTube content ID.
Yep.
So distributing your beats is really great for a number of reasons, right? So first of all, you're getting your beats onto DSPs for people to be able to stream, no matter what platform they use. We have a bunch of different platforms available through distribution. All the big ones: Spotify, Apple Music, Amazon Music, YouTube.
TikTok.
Yeah, TikTok, Facebook, and Instagram. Everything, right? Everything that you'd want.
Yeah.
And this not only makes it easier for people to stream and listen to your music along, on a different platform that they may be consuming all their music on. It also adds a layer of protection for you, right? Because like once
Yep.
you're distributing music online, you're sort of creating like a digital footprint for yourself, right? You're attaching this
Exactly.
music to your name. Then the beat will be under your name, so it makes it more difficult for people to just like rip them off of YouTube. It feels a bit more official, right? Than just kind of like uploading a beat to YouTube where anybody could take it off. Now it has your name on it. It's been put through an official distribution system where, yeah, everything is just a little bit more official.
And it's extra monetization of that beat, because even if you're selling it as a lease, every single play you get on streaming platforms, how little it may be, it still adds up to more money from each beat. And let's say you drop a chill lo-fi beat that you want to sell, but you also drop it on all of the DSPs. If you get, for example, on a chill hop playlist, for example, those plays are going to add up a lot. And so even if that beat isn't selling as much as you probably wished, you might counterbalance that lack of sales by having a lot more monetization from DSPs. So that's always an extra thing for you to add on to it.
Right. And yeah, and YouTube content ID is also a big thing as far as protecting yourself along with Beat ID, which is a BeatStars product. You know,
Yeah.
um, creating like this, like as we were saying, like that digital footprint of attaching the beat to your name, that it belongs to you, so people aren't just kind of able to take it. YouTube content ID also allows you to claim revenue for videos uploaded to YouTube that are using your beat,
Which is
without
great
having
if
to use
someone
the
steals your
license.
beat.
Mhm. So yeah, that's just another thing. When you're online, some people get worried about exposing themselves to risks, and those are all things along with like voice tags and other things like that can help you add another layer of protection
Yeah.
uh, for your copyrighted material.
Christian Andanov, I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing your name wrong, is asking if YouTube Content ID is applied right away or if it takes days or weeks. I'm not sure, to be honest. I think it
It's not
applies.
it's not instant. Once the music is, so once you submit something for distribution, um, that has to go through our review. It has to go through our reviewal process, which is pretty fast. I think it's the same day, and then we
Yeah.
have to send it out to the DSPs to be able to put it on there. I can't give an actual day, like a day time frame, but I think it's a matter of a couple of days. If it's taking more than a couple of days, I would reach out to BeatStars support. We have specific people that are just dealing with distribution, um, because it is a really important product. We want to make sure we get people the help that they need about distribution. So we
Yeah.
do have specific people answering questions just about distribution that would be able to give you the most accurate information.
Exactly.
Um, and the last two things we wanted to kind of talk about were just preparing a social media post. This
Yep.
is kind of similar to sending out an email blast. You want to let your audience, that you want to let your like non BeatStars audience know, people who aren't just getting the information just from your BeatStars page. You want everybody to know about these opportunities. There might be people that are more into checking out your new stuff on social media. Maybe that's the way some people communicate with you. You want to just make sure you're covering all of your bases, right? So if promoting on social media is something that you do a lot, you have your biggest audience on Instagram, then do a social media post, do an Instagram post, letting people know you have a new beat available, and putting the link in bio and letting people know how to buy your beats. Um,
Uh, yeah, that's pretty much it. I would say make sure you're on as many social media as possible, mainly Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok. Because although some social media might not be as used by your public audience or your target audience, excuse me, and and maybe you're not as comfortable with certain social media. I know I'm not comfortable with TikTok myself, but people find beats in the weirdest places, and each person has their own process to go look for new content and new beats to work on. So you never know where you might get that new client. So make sure you're posting your beats on every platform. If you don't want to do if you're posting a beat every single day and you don't want your Instagram to be filled with that, maybe group them and have a carousel of beats. It's also a great way for you to push older beats that might have been forgotten onto your audience currently. So it's good to stay up to date with those.
for sure. The last tip we just wanted to mention, the last step to uploading a beat is to visit the opportunities page and see what opportunities are available and
Yeah.
submit it to a couple. You know, we try to keep our opportunities diverse to kind of fit. So anytime somebody visits the page at any given time, you'll have something to submit to. So every time
Yeah.
you're uploading a beat, there's got to be at least one of these that your beat kind of fits the bill for. Um, these beat opportunities are up for 2 weeks at a time. They are updated every Thursday. So keep checking back. Submit your old beats, submit your new beats. But my tip is every time you upload a new beat, visit that opportunity page and submit it to as many of these opportunities as it applies to.
Yeah.
And it doesn't necessarily just have to be that you're submitting a particular Kid Leroy type beat. There are, other similar artists that have similar sounds to the Kid Leroy. So, our playlisters aren't just looking at, word matches, they're listening to the music. So it doesn't
it's the
matter kind
vibes.
of what your title is. It doesn't necessarily have to be created for that specific reason. As long as it fits and your beat is good, our playlisters will try to get you onto these playlists.
Exactly. And you can upload 2 beats per playlist submission.
Yeah, if you have a
Uh,
pro page.
if you made a Drake type beat and you don't have a Drake type beat playlist to submit to, just like Jamil said, there might be artists who have the same type of vibes. And if you don't know any of the artists, go search up their music, maybe their top hits, and you might find that you have a lot of tracks that actually fit those vibes. And it can become an extra weapon for you to have on your arsenal, which for marketing, which you can, oh, now I know what Kiss Daniel sounds like. So maybe I can actually promote my beats in that sense of Kiss Daniel type beats. So it's added information for you to have, and yeah, the playlist submissions are amazing. Our playlister does an amazing job at choosing the tracks that are submitted, and it adds up to a lot of plays on your end. Likes, I know I've had a lot of plays, likes, sales, reposts, all things to the playlist. So definitely try to stay on top of these.
For sure. And if we have an opportunity available, it's probably because our playlister sees that the interest in that particular thing is rising. So, like I
Yeah.
was saying, if you haven't heard of that artist before or you haven't made any type beats for that sound, there it might be worth looking into because there's probably a reason that it's available as an opportunity.
Yeah.
So yeah, keep checking back every Thursday. That's when they are updated. They're up for 2 weeks. So even if you see one and you're like, oh man, I wish I could submit to this, I just don't have anything. You have time.
Yeah.
So yeah, just make sure you're keeping an eye out on Thursday so you know what you have to prepare for.
Spend like 30 minutes in a Saturday just listening to new music. You might find artists that you actually like a lot and start to following them. So it's always good.
For
I think we
sure.
have a last question while we set up the quiz. That Boy Butter is asking, when you distribute, does it only go to the topic page or will it go to your actual YouTube page? I notice on mine it created 2 topic pages for me instead of going to my page. I might be wrong. From what I remember of myself, when I dropped music via distribution, it only goes to your topic page unless your YouTube channel is actually a music channel. So if your YouTube channel isn't a music channel, the distribution drops are going to go to a topic. And I think it'll only create a topic for your name. If you're adding collaborators, it's going to create a new topic, I believe. So if it's That Boy Butter and the Plan Beats, it's going to create a topic dedicated to our collaboration instead of adding to your That Boy Butter topic. As to YouTube music channels, I forget what the guidelines are for those, but you can definitely look it up.
Great info. So if anybody wants to participate in the quiz,
Great info.
it is
Yeah, boy.
you can do it at kahoot.it. Recommend opening it up in your phone browser so you can read the questions of the quiz from your computer screen or wherever you're watching this. You can also scan that QR code, and then the game pin is on the screen. Yeah, so the way it kind of works, if you haven't participated in one of these before, you'll just be able to see you'll have 4 colors that appear on your screen to be able to choose from. And in every answer is associated with a color that you have to read from this string. The quicker you answer, the more points you get. So make sure you're answering accurately and quickly.
Great info.
Hey, man.
No, thank you for the compliment. It might not be great info though. I'm speaking of my own experience, but it might be wrong.
We'll start this in let's give it 2 more minutes. Everybody else try to get in if you want to play. If it's taking you a little bit longer, don't worry, you can still join late. This quiz is going to be 4 questions. So, yeah. I don't know. He looks
Yeah,
the same to me. I'm not sure what you're noticing.
it's
That's
because
different.
I don't have the pink lights on. If the RGB LEDs were on, I would look
Yeah,
the
it's the
usual.
LED lighting.
Yeah, it changes. It changes completely. Even my accent is different because of it.
Gotcha. I'll check it out. You didn't need to highlight that. I read it. I'll check it out. I'll add you. I may have forgotten. All right, cool. All right, I'm gonna start it now, just so we have enough time to go through this and we don't go over too much.
Yep.
All right, question number 1. Which of these tools can you use to protect your beats from being stolen? BeatStars distribution, beat ID, voice tags, or all of the above?
What does that GIF say? Trying to read it.
Oh, the GIF. It says, "I know a lot about the law and various other lawyerings from Always Sunny."
Sounds about right.
Yeah, all of these in their own ways can kind of help you to protect your beats from being stolen. Distribution, you're creating that digital footprint, as I was saying, attaching, your beats to your name on different DSPs. So there's like proof that it is your work, that it is your beat before anybody else can kind of, take it and use it without paying for it. Beat ID, you're tracking down cases that you may have missed where somebody used your beat. So, you can kind of figure out what to do with it after that. And then voice tags, just adding your name throughout the beat. So if somebody isn't paying for the untagged file and they're just ripping it off of, your YouTube page, your name is on there. So it can be traced back to you. And it might deter people from just ripping it, and they may want to pay for the untagged file. Okay, we got Guadaluca, Alice, and Cloud9 in the top 3. Let's check out question number 2. This is a true or false. As soon as you click Save Changes on a license, that will update the terms for all of your current tracks. Is that true or false? It was hard to find a GIF for this one, so I just picked one that
I really can't see how this relates.
She's known as Warrior's mom, I think. Warrior's grand. I forget what they call her.
Yeah. It's an actual thing.
I mean, she's famous. They've put her on TV a couple of times. I haven't seen her lately though in a few years, but yeah, she's a very enthusiastic Warriors fan.
Clearly.
Warriors up 2-0, by the way. What's everybody's pick for the NBA champion? Let me know in the chat. Miami's looking good. Warriors are looking good so far. I'd say those are my top 2 from each conference.
I have 0 to contribute for this topic.
Yeah, so you need to click that apply to all tracks button. Clicking save changes after you make an edit in the metadata, all that's going to do is change those terms for your future uploads. It won't change your past uploads. Give me 1 second. My computer might die if I don't change my camera. I usually make it almost to the end.
We're having some technical issues.
Oops, that's not what I want myself to look like. There we go. Okay.
Much better.
Next question. 2 questions left. Let's see who is on the leaderboard. Okay, Alice moved up. Actually, maybe not. I'm not sure. But 8th Life is in the top 3 now, so that's cool. All right, let's go to question number 3. Which of these tools can you use to send out an email blast to let your audience know you have a new upload? Printful, ManyChat, TubeBuddy, or MailChimp?
Have the best gift choices.
I have
Sending
to
an
get
email to
creative.
SpaceX.
Instead of going for email blast, there was no gifts for that, so I had to do blast off.
That's fair, I guess. You could have done Blastoise.
Ooh, that would have been good. I like Blastoise. S tier Pokemon.
For real. Is this beat from actual Kahoot?
Yeah.
I wonder if the producer of this beat is on BeatStars.
It's possible. I like to think that Kahoot has in-house producers to make all these beats. Yeah, MailChimp. We got 100% on that one. Good job, y'all. Okay, top three. Looks like it's the same. We have one question left. See if we have anybody sneak in at the last second. True or false? Buyers are able to filter search results by key.
That boy Butter said next time you should use the Bruce Almighty GIF where he's just replying to all the emails.
I didn't see that in the
That's
result.
actually a really good one.
We need one more person to answer. There we go. Yeah. There's a bunch of different things you can filter by BPM. You could filter by key. You can filter by genre. You could filter by mood. There's a bunch of different search results, and people looking for beats will use those. There's so many beats on the platform. People want to be able to find exactly what they're looking for in the most kind of accurate way. So make sure you're entering all of that information accurately so people can find your beats. All right, let's see the podium. Third place is 8th Live. Second place, Guadaluca. And first place with 3,738 points is Alice.
Oh, congrats, y'all.
Congrats, everyone. I will be adding the winners of this episode to the playlist immediately after the show ends, and then I'll also check back for last week to kind of see what happened there. But thank you to the Plan Beats for joining us today. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. This episode was a lot of fun. Hope you guys learned something that you're able to use, for your next upload. And we will see you guys in a couple of weeks.
Yeah. Thanks for having me, and thanks, everyone. Have a good one.
For sure. All right. See y'all later.